Good morning, Hacksters! Today we have the pleasure of the company of Charlyn Gonda, who describes herself as a, what is it, coder by sunlight, maker by moonlight, which is just wonderful. How are you, Charlyn?
Pretty good. How are you, Alex?
Great, especially now. I'm thinking back on the times that I've seen you show up to various events with just something super weird and great, and I'm really excited for this session. Ah, yeah.
Me
Plus, you
too.
You flashed down to something on your desk that looked really interesting. Can we talk about that first? Because the curiosity is killing me.
Yes, absolutely. So I have this thing.
Ooh.
I've made other light boxes before,
Wow.
um, but I've kind of been making all of the light boxes as gifts. So I decided I'm going to make one for myself, and this is
Mm.
just the first letter. It's probably going to be some sort of wall art, but it looks like this.
Oh, dramatic reveal. That's gorgeous. Wow.
And yeah, it's just a bunch of neopixels underneath, a bunch of rainbows, and I've really been like enjoying just making light boxes like this, where you have a laser cut shape on top of like some diffusion layer, and then you just
Mm.
kind of rainbow it up. It's been a really fun concept to just iterate on. Um, and I feel like ever since I got my laser cutter, I've just kind of been going crazy.
Yeah, awesome. And you've documented this among other similar projects on your blog here, which is charlene.codes.
Yes.
A couple links for those in the description of this video. So everyone, if you get distracted by one of these shiny things and you want to learn more, just scroll down and you'll find a link to it. But I beg you to wait because there's lots more cool stuff coming. So you make these with what?
I make it with my Glowforge laser cutter, and recently I've been trying out Adobe Illustrator on the iPad, and it's been
Oh,
really fun to draw. Yeah, I've never drawn anything so organic. So this is actually the thing that I drew,
you drew that by
and these
hand.
are yes, I did.
That's so cool.
And these are all just this is like sort of the cutout, and then these are all the leftover pieces. But I wanted to illuminate these lines because if you saw the one on the website before, I was kind of illuminating the inner shapes. Yeah. So
Right.
like the silhouette. But I was like, oh, I wonder what would happen if I lit up just the lines. And I think that effect ended up being really cool. I feel like it's a little bit more subtle, like it's not like the entire
Mm.
shape. But I don't know, maybe nothing is subtle about rainbows.
I feel like it looks like someone drew this with like a rainbow magic pen.
Yes, that's right. That's a good way of describing it.
And that's a
Um,
great tip about Illustrator on the iPad. I've only just downloaded that the other day, actually. What do you like about it?
I like it because it has this like smoothing feature. So like I don't actually I don't draw the super smooth lines like in real life. It's hard to do that consistently, but with the smoothing effect, every line that you draw is a beautiful like Bezier curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just kind of like make it happen. So it's really
Hmm.
easy to draw these like super like wavy, curvy sort of shapes. And yeah, I totally recommend it if you haven't tried it yet, especially if you have like an Apple pen. Oh, it's great.
And you mentioned that this might end up being wall art, and you've definitely done a few pieces of this before. You sent me some links that I got to dive into earlier, including like this origami wall sculpture. Uh,
Yes.
and this one hides some secrets. What I love about actually several of your projects that you've shared is that they have these hidden secrets. Like they look like something beautiful to start with, and then they like surprise light up and become something more and something intelligent.
Yes, so this one is actually connected to Google Home, although I can't demo that part of it right now, but I can show you that I can turn it on remotely.
Ooh,
So this is that art. There it
wow.
is. It's a little bit hard to see in the daylight, I guess, but
No, I can see it.
I oh, beautiful. Um, I really wanted bedroom wall art, and to get something like this massive, is actually kind of expensive. And I wanted to make something that was sort of like gonna fit the color scheme and something that honestly we live in an earthquake prone area. So I wanted something that would be okay if it fell on our heads. And I feel like it's kind of spiky, but it's paper, so it's probably gonna be okay.
Is it mounted on like foam core or MDF or something?
It's a canvas, like a light
Oh,
canvas.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
it's like a
totally
wood.
not gonna murder you if it falls on you in the night.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the hope.
Yeah,
So yeah,
design constraints.
yeah. What design constraints?
Yeah. Just like, we live in a yeah. So you also we can see a sneak peek of another one back there behind you, which is the code one with the plants
Oh
on it.
yes.
All of this also looks like things that, a lot of us make things that you sort of you'd see in like a cyborg movie or something, but you make things that you'd pick up in like an interior design magazine or a modern living magazine, and you'd see something like this in there.
Thank you. That's maybe the aesthetic that I was going for. I can turn it on real quick.
Oh yeah.
Forgot to turn it on. I wore pants for this occasion. Stand up. There we go. It's a little bit hard to see from back here, but that's my normal sort of video background for work, because that little corner is my little work corner. And I really wanted something that my coworker. So I just got a new job, and this was going to be the only surface area that my coworkers was going to see me in. So I wanted something kind of like cool and aesthetic to whenever they talk to me, they're not just like staring at my bedroom or something. So yeah, I had so much fun with that.
I really hope they appreciate the lengths that you've gone to give them a cool background to look at.
I hope so too. Yeah. So I've gotten a few compliments. I think some people think that it's a virtual background. I have to sort of like touch it to show that it's not.
Yeah, and you have documented, so even if people can't see these super close up in this video, you do have video up on your Vimeo of the Google Home wall going, and also of you putting together that code wall. I don't want to like scroll past this really fast because it's so pretty, and like it seems like part of its allure is that it's not super in your face blinky, it kind of slow fades.
Yes. I wanted it to be able to turn on at night, so it couldn't be like super loud. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is this material that you're working with here?
So this was made out of an IKEA background. So like the leaves, yeah, the leaves are from IKEA, and the letters are 3D printed, and the lights are this neon strip. So I just 3D. I modeled some 3D letters in Fusion, specifically for the width of this neon strip. And then this is the first time that I got to use, there's like a specific feature in Fusion 360 where you can draw a line and then like make a shape sort of follow that line. I forget what it's called, like pipe or something. Anyway, yeah. So I had a lot of fun modeling these letters. I based it off of like a single line font that is actually from a website called Single Line Fonts.
Nice.
It's a great resource. And yeah, it was so fun. I wanted to, so typically people make neon lights like this using laser cutters, but I didn't have a laser cutter at the time. And the thing that I love doing, well, I don't know if I love doing it, but the thing that I end up doing is that I work within the constraints of my skills and the stuff that I have on hand. So like a lot of my projects, I just kind of do the best that I can in terms of the tools that I have, either like my skills or the materials that I have on hand. Because I feel like, if I have to learn something new, then I want to focus on like investing on that skill, which which is always great because then I can use that in my next project, right? But oftentimes if I'm like executing on something, I tend to rely on the tools that I already have. And a lot of times it ends up working.
Yeah. And I think it makes things so much more compelling. And also, you have this trend of combining multiple disciplines, like you were talking about. So, like, this code wall has 3D printed elements as like holding the electronics in place. In a few of your different things that you've described, you use 3D printing and laser cutting together, and maybe little charms and things, including as well, in order to create one coherent whole. And even though you're using all these different techniques, they come together to make this really beautiful. You've sort of combined their strengths.
Yes, I'm really glad that that comes through because that's kind of what I've been attempting. So I can show you actually
Oh, yes,
that thing
please.
that you just showed me. Let me. I know this is really mesmerizing, but we got to turn it off. Oh, I used like gray vellum for this guy, and look, it's just really messy under there. I probably should show that.
It just means your desk is a real place.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Is that
So
Bimo?
that's this. Oh yeah, it is. Bemo's here.
Ah!
I haven't turned her on yet. Hello.
Oh my goodness.
We'll wait for Bemo to boot up there.
Okay.
But fun fact for the people watching, BMO is one of the things that I was carrying when I think probably when I first met you, Alex,
Huh?
in SuperCon. So it was super fun.
Yeah.
So this is that ring that you're talking about. I can zoom in a little bit too.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So this is that ring. Oh yeah, there we go. And it's a little messy soldering job there, but right now it basically the idea is it counts up every time you touch it. So this ring
Oh.
has capacitive touch. I can touch it, and
Oh,
that's
no
two.
way.
And then if nothing is touching it, it's just gonna sort of change colors. But then yeah,
That's
so it just
so
counts up.
cool.
And there was only like 8 LEDs here, so I decided I was only gonna go up to 6 and then back down to 1. Yeah. And I actually wore this around a conference once. And it was pretty easy to wear. I mean, it's kind of bulky because of this guy. I didn't yet have any PCBs. I still don't have any PCB making skills. I made one blinky PCB, which was an accomplishment for me. But yeah, maybe one day I'm gonna figure out how to like sort of integrate everything together into one.
I've just been
But it's
getting
kind
into it, and it's a super steep learning curve, but it's so fulfilling, yeah.
of is. And this is just kind of bulky though. Like
It's so cute,
but
though.
it's a statement ring, I guess.
Exactly.
The downside of using this copper is that I end up, you can touch the wire and the same effect will happen, but maybe that's also a feature, not a bug.
So what do you use the counting for? I'm envisioning like I do a lot of habit tracking and trying to build good habits, and I feel like if you could like touch it every time you resist going on the internet or every time you like do some squats or something, it would be really cool.
Yeah, I feel like for now I haven't really been using it for like anything functional. It's just kind of fun to make it kind of interactive this way. But the one thing that I did want to do with it is try to figure out how to make it vibrate every 3 minutes. Because there's this character, there's a character in this TV show that I briefly watched where like this character portions their time in 3 minute increments. And I was just wondering how would that feel if your day was in 3 minute increments? And like, would you have a different perception of time? I feel like time is like a really fascinating concept to make stuff with, just because it like makes it kind of physical, especially these days. Time is weird.
Yeah. I want to move on to one of your projects about that in just a second, but I also want to mention that I did a project similar to that, but with like 14.5 minute increments, which is like 100th of a day. And it really does sort of bring, I think, mindfulness to your day. It's an interesting way of like calibrating yourself. I'd love to see what you would do with a 3 minute one. and you'd
Yeah.
make it look amazing. So, yeah, this other one you were talking about. Well, there's a whole blog post on this ring, and there's plenty more to talk about there. But also, you were just talking about time and the perception of it, and that brought up this one that you sent to me as well, which again it incorporates this beautiful origami art. Talk about multidisciplinary. Can you tell us about this one?
Yes. So as a lot of people probably can relate, but I got a little addicted to Animal Crossing for a couple months. Um, and to pull myself out of it, I decided that I was going to make something that was going to be a trip, like my tribute to my love of this game, and like the sign of our times, I guess. So that's this guy right here. It's this Animal
Oh,
Crossing clock. It uses the same sort of leaves as the yes, oh my god, they are the star fragments that you would get in Animal Crossing. And fun fact, there's like a photo, art of Celeste. It's really hard to see on this camera, but Celeste is sort of like in the background of this art. It was given to me by one of my friend Grace, who we just saw the comment we just saw. Um, and yeah, it was just so, it felt really good to create something for a game that I really loved and be able to sort of express how time felt for me at the time, which was like, I wasn't really sure how it felt, but it felt really like, I mean, it was kind of beautiful. It was a beautiful time to just be alive and be lucky enough to immerse myself in that game, you know?
mm,
Um, but I really wanted to like make something that would allow me to feel time again, at least outside of like that context.
yeah. So how does this project do that? Because I think it's really interesting.
Oh yes. So let me see if I remember. The top bottom or the top one will say uh, the 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 percentage of the day. So it'll go from like sunlight to sunset or something. Um, and then the bottom one I think is the date or the day. Yes, yeah. The bottom one is the day, and I feel like what I did was I didn't really differentiate between Wednesday and Thursday. Like it was going to be the same, the same day. And then on Friday, everything just goes great. Like it's just all rainbow. So like this animation right now is the Friday animation. Um,
Mm.
but it serves to remind you that, Friday used to be this exciting day that happened. And the small one, the little tiny one, will sort of breathe every second or so. It's not exact, but just to show you that time is actually passing.
That's so great. And when I looked at the blog post, I thought that this was going to be a vertical piece for the wall, but I love it in this sort of like horizontal way. So your pieces very much are complementary, but they're also quite different.
Yes, I wanted it to be on the wall, but I had the shelf right here, and it just seemed like it was gonna fit there, and I wanted to display it with this beautiful like art of Celeste, that character,
Yeah.
um, that I was really obsessed with when I was playing this game. So yeah, it ended up working out right there. It's a
I love
little
how it looks this way though, because it kind of looks like they're peeking up out of the leaves, like little mushrooms you'd find in the woods or something, but like light up.
yes, exactly. Yeah, it ended up working out. I feel like, honestly, I feel like a lot of my projects end up featuring like flowers or leaves or vines or something like that. And I think it's like I love the aesthetic, but I also feel like it goes well with a lot of things. Like I like to think of myself as, I don't know, a cyberpunk forest nymph or something.
I love
Like
that.
if I were cosplaying, that's probably going to be the vibe of the cosplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, leaves and flowers ends up working really well.
Speaking of times being what they are, it reminds me of this other one that you made, which again incorporates like you go so I want to say extra, but it's like Oh,
Yes.
it's like you put so much into these. Like you have a laser cut piece in the middle, is that right? And then you have a 3D printed frame
Mhm.
and a circuit on it and some ribbons and these pinbacks and you made frames for them? What? Amazing.
Yes.
So what is this
I
project? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
so these are they're the 2020 Finisher Awards. Um, I thought I wanted to make, so I was thinking about Christmas gifts. Oh, thank you, Sophie. Um, I wanted to make Christmas gifts, and I felt like it needed to be like a celebration, like some sort of positive twist to what 2020 was.
Mhm.
And so I came up with this concept. And at first, I started with just the award itself. And I can actually show you what goes inside of it
Ooh,
here.
please.
So let's do, yeah. So this is this guy. And if I turn it on, it's got these and it's two-tone laser cut. So this is one single piece of acrylic, and
No way.
if you engrave it, then it's black underneath but gold on top, and then you can kind of just pop this off. And this is the simple circuit that's inside of it. It's just the battery and two blinky LEDs, which I've been loving making stuff with these LEDs. They're kind of my favorite.
That's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I thought that it was just gonna be this like thing that maybe people would be proud to wear around. So I put a pin behind it, and I modeled this like 3D frame.
It's so
I
pretty.
wanted, yeah, I wanted something that was kind of thin, but this is as thin as I could get it.
What
So
kind
yeah,
of
and then I
filament is
figured,
that? Oh, sorry, go on.
oh no, go ahead. What were you
What
asking?
kind of filament is it that you're using? Is it
Oh,
sparkly? It kind of looks sparkly.
yeah, it's kind of sparkly. It's one of my favorite. It's Vertigo Galaxy from
Ooh.
Filamentum.
Hmm.
It works for a whole bunch of projects. I probably print too many things with it, but I like it.
Good thing.
But yeah, I wanted it to be super special to the people that I was giving it, and so I made another one, and so this one is actually for you, Alex.
No way! That's so cool.
Yeah, because you also finished 2020 and you deserve it.
I sure did. Oh man, that's
So
so exciting.
yeah, and folks watching, that was a surprise. She didn't know that was going to happen.
I really did. Oh, that's so cool. I'm flipping out.
Yeah. And you know what's great? These things also function because they're wooden. They function really well as shipping protection for these.
Yeah.
So I shipped them just in bubble wrap, and they ended up in all of the places that I shipped them to. For the most part, I had like a 95% rate, no breakage. The pin
Wow.
might have broken, but yeah, I was pretty happy with the fact that all of them kind of made them safely to their destinations. But yeah, I love making gifts for people. I just it's like one of the reasons why I love making so much is because I can kind of make people smile with the things that I make,
It's
which
totally
is,
working. I'm smiling so hard right now. Like hurting my face off.
I'm so happy.
I wanted to make sure that we mention there's a really interesting thing going on with this is that you have two materials here where you have, for example, people are used to sort of regular LEDs that
Yeah.
just do one thing, but these have like a built-in circuit that does multiple things. And also this laser cut material, is it called like sign acrylic or something?
I don't really know if it has a special term. I know that it's called like a two-tone acrylic.
Right. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so you can get them in different colors. And it's like this one is gold on black, and you can get them the reverse black on gold. And then there's a bunch of like other metallic colors like bronze and stuff.
Ooh, black on
But there's
gold.
also like regular colors like green on white and green on black, stuff like that. So
And
definitely fun.
these both seem like huge enablers because they enable you to get like a rainbow effect or like two colors in your design while only using sort of one material or one component. It's super
Yes,
cool.
Yes, agreed. And I love ribbons. Ribbons are just like so versatile as well. Like I've been using this to gift wrap a bunch of things and like tie my
Ooh,
hair. It's great.
that's so good. Mohib jumps in. Yeah, best energy. There's another one. I wanted to congratulate you on your first Adafruit Learn Guide.
Oh my god, yes. I was so happy.
Well, to many more. Can you tell us about this? What's going on here?
Yes. So this is a dot star matrix necklace behind some black LEDs, and I can actually show a little bit of it here. So it's this guy, and oh man, I probably should have turned this on before this entire thing happened, but let's see what would happen. So it is
Oh, that's a cool
the
battery
case.
pack thingy.
Oh yes, this is the case that Noah and Pedro made for another necklace. I just decided, hey, why reinvent the wheel?
Mm.
Well, just kidding. I kind of did. I really wanted to make one that was like a laser cut case. So it was this one, but it ended up a little bit like a lipstick case almost.
Mm.
I liked it, but it's not as sturdy and it's not as easy to disassemble as this guy. So I've kind
Mm.
of been just wearing it around with this 3D printed one. But let's see what would happen if I just turned it on. So it has a matrix, a dot star matrix inside of it. Oops, that's why. There's two USB ports. Like this is the power, and this is the where the necklace should be going. And I
Oh.
always put it on the wrong one. So you know that problem where you always have to flip USBs. I have like
Yeah.
that problem times 3. Oh no, it's not turning on. Oh well, something had to go wrong today. That's okay.
Yeah,
You
that
can
just
just
proves
take
that it's live, folks.
exactly.
But you can see it on Charlene's blog here, also linked in the description. And
Yeah,
you're using again this like black translucent acrylic. You seem like a
yeah.
huge fan of this. I'm really curious.
I am a huge fan of them. You saw that earlier in the ring as well. So like this ring is using the same acrylic. And the first time I saw it, I was like, man, I definitely have to make something out of this. And I've been really enjoying the black and gold aesthetic,
Yeah.
which is kind of really far from the whole forest nymph thing that I just said earlier. But but it works out.
Forest nymph, what are they gonna wear at night? You gotta have something to accessorize in the evening.
Yes, that's right. I like it. Yeah, and this thing is a capacitive touch brass thing, which I've been really obsessed about too. Like I
Mm.
just get obsessed about like shapes and colors and stuff. So like I've been experimenting with a lot of these like brass shapes, and you can get them in like a bunch of different shapes and sizes. And you combine. I've been combining them with a bunch of like acrylic, different things. Anyway, so that's kind of been my obsession.
That marbled acrylic is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I've been wanting to make something with it,
Ooh,
and it
so pretty.
diffuses light. Yeah, it diffuses light quite well too, but I don't know. I haven't really made anything with it yet. But yeah, back to this guy. This guy has a dot star
Ooh.
matrix inside of it, and it's kind of like exposed in the back. There's a very professional zip tie right there.
You don't see
And
it from
then
the front.
and then I spent like kind of too much time wrapping this guy.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, everyone loves that.
yes, exactly. Oh
So
my god.
good.
There was a lot of time just like I think I was just watching anime while I was while I was trying to wrap this entire thing. Uh,
Ooh, what anime?
I don't know. I think I was watching some Miyazaki films.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
I've been on a bend, largely because Alvaro kind of got me started on it.
Avera!
Yeah, he's great. Um, but
Yes.
yeah, this has been a really fun project, and I just pitched it to see if Adafruit would like a guide written out of it, and they did, and I was really really excited, especially because this matrix. Oh, I wish I had taken out the matrix in the beginning, but this dot star matrix is super cute. It's like a super cute little matrix inside here. And I don't know, I was just like obsessed, and I really, really needed to make something out of it. Yeah, and then it looks like this when you wear it. I don't know. I wore the
That's
shirts.
so pretty.
It's a little bit tedious because the weight is on the back, but again, I'll working with the constraints that I
Counterweight.
have.
And as Sophie says, it's even gorgeous when it's off. Oh, Alvaro says, hey. Hey!
Hi.
Yeah. Ah, amazing. We also have a
Yes.
comment that says, receiving one of your medals was the highlight of my 2202. Wow.
Yes.
You're in the future, Charlene. You're coming at us from like 1,000 years in the future. And I
Exactly.
totally believe it.
Yep. We out here living in the future.
I guess 18,000 years in the future? Anyway. Yeah. Looks so classy. So let's see. What else can we dig into here? I want to, I think we might have gone through the things that we were linked to, but there's a couple more things that I remember seeing you show up at places with. So one of them, we were at Particle Spectra, and you showed up with like, was it a shark hat?
It was.
Well, tell us about that.
I have it right here. It doesn't work. I can show you though, but it's a shark hat that used to be internet connected. It still is, kind of. But it was one of my first maker projects, actually. This is the thing that kind of got me into making stuff.
Oh, it's a shark of corn.
Yes, it's a sharknicorn. Does it still fit? Yeah, it does. Wow, okay. The shark is still capable of eating my head. That's great.
Oh, this is in your printer profile too.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's so this unicorn horn lights up, and the animations change depending on the state. It used to depend on the state of whatever your Uber ride was. So, like if the driver is like nearby, or if you were in the car, that would be a different animation, etc.
Huh.
Yeah, it was it used to use the Uber API, which I think is kind of defunct now. But that was back when I was a developer advocate for the company, and we wanted to figure out how to like teach people about those different states. So this was like one of the ideas. We never really like did anything with it though. It was just like a fun project for me.
Yeah, I mean, do you need to do anything with it? You can just have a sharkicorn for sharknicorn or sharkicorn for its own sake. Sharknicorn.
Yes. Yeah, why not, right? Yes, exactly.
And another time you showed up at like a hardware thing with I think you had converted like a hoverboard or two into like a rideable unicorn or something. Was it a unicorn again?
Yes, it was a unicorn again. I had a brief. Okay, not brief. I had a unicorn obsession. It's actually in the blog. I don't know if we want to pull that up.
Oh,
but
let me see if I can find it.
But it's I put a unicorn stuffed animal on top of a hoverboard and some PVC pipes, and then I rode it around because why not?
And this is a cool integration of the electronics of the hoverboard with a sort of physical, mechanical PVC pipe integration, which worked really well and didn't require like hacking the electronics at all, as far as I know.
Yeah, exactly. I just used this like mechanism to like tilt the left and right bits of it up and down. And yeah, it ended up working really well. I was so happy. It's so fun to ride.
That's so smart. And I got to ride on it. It's so fun.
Yeah. When all this is over, we're definitely gonna ride it.
Oh my gosh, these like beautiful designy shots.
This was intentionally kind of a ridiculously like it's epic but it's not epic sort of shots. Yeah, I'm not super good with like the camera and the close-ups, but I had so much fun just like making this like fake epic video.
It's super epic. Don't sell yourself short. It's amazing.
Oh, I definitely made my coworkers watch it like a lot. when, when I
Well,
made
hopefully
it.
you let them write it as well.
Yes,
You
yes,
can't force them to watch it and not write. Okay, good.
exactly. Yes, that was the price.
So there's tons more stuff on your blog. Oh, Pusheen. Oh. And a build guide for the Sharknicorn. Everyone can check out your stuff there. They can follow
Yeah.
you on Twitter at Chardane, which is linked below. Oh, where does your username come from?
I came up with it a long time ago. My middle name, my second first name is Diane. So it's like a
Aha.
combination of Charlene Diane. I just like cut the I off. I don't know.
Mm,
It's a username that always exists in all
nice,
of the
yeah.
websites.
It's like a portmanteau. So is it like Chardane or Chardin?
I think
Should we
it's
say
Chardane. Could be
Chardane?
Chardane. I like it.
Cool. And so everyone, you can follow, of course, Charlene on Twitter at Chardane. It's in a couple of the links below. You can also go to the blog and check out all this beautiful stuff. Is there anything you'd like to throw in there before we wrap up? Anything? Oh, anything coming up that you can tell us about?
Well, there's like stuff that I haven't yet like put any posts on. Like I made this
Ooh.
coaster, uh, and
What?
this is yeah, I haven't really shared anything about this, but this is one of those like projects that I made as gifts. So it lights up, and
Wow.
it's obviously it lights up. But yeah, it's a coaster, and you can put a cup on it. Yeah.
Ah, I'm really curious what that looks from the side. Does it like go up the water in the
Uh,
cup, or does it?
so it's not very waterproof, yes, but it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
a sandwiched layer. And I was really happy because I was able to use these heat sink counter or whatever, like
Oh,
what do you
countertop?
call it? Yeah, like these
Oh, the little
heat
silicone feet?
set. Yeah, they're like
Oh,
heat
heat
set.
set. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's right. And then I have like I have 3 screws here. And then I'm using that like marble. Okay, I lied. I lied earlier. I did use the marble acrylic for something, which is this.
It's beautiful. It's another one of those ones that looks gorgeous when it's off, and when you turn it on, it's like an extra surprise.
Yes, exactly. I haven't posted anything about this because I was really having dilemmas about like whether I should do a circuit sculpture in there. But I figured I should just finish it.
Mm,
The theme for this year is finishing stuff.
legit. It started
Yeah,
with the badges.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's it. I definitely have more of these letters coming up. And I'm excited to share sort of it's gonna be a big wall art thing. Oh no, I'm like publicly committing to it.
Yes, we'll expect weekly updates.
Yes, so that's what my hope. My hope is that it's gonna end up. Oh, thank you. That it's outside. Outside of this frame is a lot more messy than it looks.
That's the
But
way.
yeah, but yeah, I'm hoping that this will end up being a bunch of letters, and it's gonna spell make, of course.
Ah, yeah.
um, and and yeah, I'm hoping that it's gonna be this big wall art, and it's gonna go behind my laser cutter, and it's gonna be great. It's my
So
dream.
cool. Ah,
Gotta make my dream come true.
yes. Absolutely. And one more link. Your Instagram is where actually, when you were talking about those charms and the pieces of acrylic and stuff, this post just is stuck in my head
Yeah.
because you just like playing with the different ones and they look so nice together. Oh,
Yes, I
there's so many
agree.
pretty things. If you can't get enough of these gorgeous things, go follow Chardane or Charlene. Also on Instagram, same username.
Yeah. Thank you. I have a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This is just a wonderful, joyous way to start the morning with like these yummy, beautiful things that are just like, eye candy, and like you shouldn't have candy for breakfast, but I don't regret a thing. Thank you so
That's
much.
great. Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah, absolutely, and come back anytime. Thank you
Thank you.
everyone for joining us, and we'll catch you soon.
Bye, everyone.